It is showtime.
Yeah, hello everyone. Let's see as everybody joins in. Um, Welcome. We're on a new platform today, just to kind of state the obvious. So we're doing a little bit of a learning curve, um, trying to bring a better experience all around to everybody. But my name is Johannah. I am the Director of Customer Success here at TimeZest. And today I'm joined with Jason Casuga, our Senior Product Manager. And so it's actually his show today. He's going to be going over what the team's been working on, what we're excited about, specifically surrounding security are the primary things today. This is also a great way for you guys to get your questions in front of us. And so you can put in the comment box, if somebody would go ahead and put a comment in there, then we know it's working well and we can actually see what you guys have to say. We're going to be sharing links throughout the time of our time today, and I'll be putting those directly in the comment section as well. So if we mention any articles or anything like that, you can find that there. With that said, Jason, the team's been busy and some new things have been rolling out. And I know the primary focus today is, roles and permissions, as well as single sign-on. So talk to us about what's going on there.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks for having me in. We are, like you said, Joe, we are actively working on many other things, but the focus on today's session is really just talking about that, the security piece of it. We understand that as you and your team is progressively using TimeZest more and more, there has to be some level of permissions that allow your users to be able to get into the TimeZest app and be able to do things within it itself, right? So like we're looking into it in terms of the role-based permissions, one of the things I'll be demoing here in a second. And then also too, we're going to have a conversation about the SSO integration, because again, that's an important thing in your organization with regards to security and how that will address any issues with any risks to compromised passwords, being able to log in successfully, provisioning, all those things were taken into consideration with this integration. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen just to get it started up here and kind of show you what we're looking at. The first part I want to just have in this session today is the role-based access control. I'm going to call it RBAC just to make it simple because it's a long-worded functionality. So RBAC itself, the purpose for us to use it, just like any other app that you use today, there's got to be certain levels of access that your users can and cannot do within the application. Today within TimeZest, you only have two roles. It's the administrator and the user. Administrators, they log into this TimeZest app and they can see everything inside of the application with regards to setting the settings themselves, being able to edit them, delete them, and add new things. On the flip side, the user, they only just have access to just those important things that they have access to, such as
Mhm.
the URL for their specific profile, like the appointment type shareable URL or the ticket URL, the URL based scheduling URL, and then also too maybe the calendar HQ, right? So that's all they can do at the moment. There's nothing in between. So if I have, say, for example, a dispatcher within the company, we have to grant them full administrative rights. So that's too much. If we give them a user level, they can't do what they need to do inside of the TimeZest app in terms of creating new appointment types or editing those existing appointment types and stuff like that. So we're trying to meet in the middle and allow you to be able to create the different and unique roles that you have within your business so that those users can log in and do what they need to do within the application itself. So how to do that, we've already released this into your account. So you should have seen this starting last month. Just in case if you haven't had any experience with toggling it on or using it, right here under the security and permissions screen. Right now, we have it listed right under here. And I'm going to talk about SSO in the second half of this session, but right now I want to focus on the roles and permissions section. We've got two different tabs here to show you that we've pre-configured 4 roles already within your account. The 2 that already exist today, the user and the administrator and the user roles, these 2 right here. We've also pre-configured 2 additional roles for you just to try out. So it's the dispatcher role and then this finance. Again, let me just drill into it just to show you. Under the administrative role, you could see everything is there and enabled, but we purposefully disabled them for you to be able to edit because we want to make sure that any person who has this administrative role has full access to everything, but we just don't want you to cut down on the administrative rights to be able to do those edits and stuff like that. You have the capability to be able to create a new role, right? So if you do have like a, you know, I'll just call it a temp admin, and I can copy the existing administrative role, then that gives me that capability to be able to say, I need to lessen those rights. Can they view appointment types or can they? Right. So we do have that capability to be able to make those edits if you create your own custom role. All right. So let me go back. And you can see here, there's that temp admin. So, like, if you wanted to have a second level of an admin, you can do so. With the dispatcher and the finance, again, we've pre-configured these things of what we felt were appropriate for a dispatcher. So things that they could do, as you could see in your instance of TimeZest, it's going to be the exact same thing what you see here. So they can view those appointment types, but they can't add, edit, or delete appointment types. And again, you have that capability in here too, to be able to make some edits if you wanted to specify what those settings will be. Right. So if you feel like your dispatchers do have that capability to be able to do additional setups above and beyond what we suggested, you can always go in and make those edit rights. Each section here, it pertains to the menu item on the left-hand side. So you can see at the top, appointment types, users, teams. It just goes down the list just to make sure it's easy for you to be able to see and edit what needs to be accessed and allowable for that permission. Right. So that's just the setup itself. And I want to make sure we're clear on this one as well. With your TimeZest subscription, it does have certain levels of what you can and cannot do. So the professional subscription that many of you are on, you'll have full rights to this. So you'll have those 4, the administrator, user, dispatcher, and finance. Those are already going to be available and pre-built for you. You'll also have the capability to be able to edit and delete the finance and dispatcher roles. Whereas any TimeZest customer that is on the advanced plan, you'll have these available, the dispatcher and finance, but you just can't edit them. That's the only difference of what we are setting up for the advanced account. And then lastly, for the free account, we're just offering just the administrator user as normal. So how do you apply these is going into the users tab. So we're going to keep it in that same screen, and it's going to give you a list of all of your users within the app itself. So you guys are used to seeing it here in the user screen. We only got 3 in this example or in this account. You can see those same users here under the users tab, and you'll be able to change and set what role that they have in this setup here. So I'm going to use Callie in this example, and I'm going to change Callie to a level 1 tech because right now our level 1 techs only have certain access to be able to do things. They were a user in that using that user role, but we wanted to give just a little bit more access to be able to do so. So if I go back into the level 1 tech role, it's a custom role. This is the one I just recently created. We can add some more stuff. So say, for example, like in the teams, they were not able to view teams. So I just want them to be able to add and create teams here and do so. So once it's set, when I log in as Callie, I'm going to just show you in this example. Here is Callie's login. I'm going to show you that we do have the teams available for when Callie does log in. and then we can create a new team here. So again, that's what the permission is doing, to say, can they do these things and can they not? For the user role, they didn't have access to the email templates. Now, with this custom role that I have for Callie, and any other user who has the level 1 tech, they can go in here and see the email templates, right? So we granted access to that user for them to be able to see what's going on within the different email templates. But as you can see, there's no editing. Everything is grayed out. Well, this is a default template. Let me back out here. Let me go into a custom confirmation template. You can see, again, there's no editing rights. There's no delete rights or whatnot. You're giving them access to be able to see what the setting looks like, just in case that they need to be educated on what the template would appear if we were to send it out to the client. But we're not giving them that capability to be able to add and delete and muck things up and stuff like that. So we just wanted to make sure that they can see and be aware of what some of these settings are if they were granted access. All right, so let me go back into this here and see. Joe, are there any questions right now? I mean, that was a quick demo.
No.
It wasn't really
Yeah.
much that I needed to show, because like that, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory of how RBAC works for users. It's pretty much just like any other app out there. You know, we're trying to show release as much granularity as possible. We didn't want to go too deep into this, right? Because there's so
Right.
many minute things that we could do, edge cases that we just felt were not enough to warrant to release yet. So we're happy to feel for any comments or any like feedback to say, hey, I need this thing to go a little bit more deeper, right? So we're looking for a lot
Yeah.
more suggestions if there is any, or if
Yeah.
this works out, this would be great.
No, this was a great feature release. For years we've had requests, from our customer base saying, "Hey, we need the ability to let our, finance team in," but they don't need to be making changes to appointment types or anything like that. They just need to be able to access the account and billing. Um, Now we're able to do that. Same with the dispatcher. So now the creating the custom roles, that's included in the professional plan, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So um, everyone that's on the call today, this is, an interactive moment for you. You're able to, you know, chat with us and ask questions. Are there any pending questions about roles, these new roles and permissions? And what use cases can you see this applying to your business, right? So I think it's a great feature. It's been asked, and on that, we try actively to pull from our customer base's requests, right? So that is exactly, Jason's on there. He's looking at our roadmap and looking at our feature request page. And I'm going to put the link to that in the chat right now for everyone. But we really value our customers' feedback. And this is actually directly from that. So that was requests from customers saying, hey, we need to limit what our dispatcher can do. We need to be able to let our finance team get in there without having to see or get lost in all the different permissions. So it's great to see that request become a reality for everyone. So I did put in the chat the feature request page. You'll see in there, submit your ideas. We can't think of everything. That's why we pull from you guys. And then Jason will be in there and he will be answering, questions or going through making comments on things and kind of filtering. Do try to keep it kind of tidy of, search to see if there's a common request and then add your comments in there and vote it up so that we can kind of see what is needed. Another thing you guys have been working on that's right around the corner is single sign-on, right? So
Yes, yeah. So it's a
share
good
a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a good transition into that. So with the major need for many organizations to help secure their applications and access, there was a much need for this capability to be released out to our customers. The pain point that we've heard and experienced is really two to three roughly, where risk, like I said earlier, the risk of password being compromised
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to use Microsoft as a way to be the, oh gosh, that word escapes my mind. The, I'll call it the source of truth of logging in.
Right.
I know there's a word for it, but I just can't remember what it is. But basically, you can log into the TimeZest app using your Microsoft credentials. Just the simplest way to do it, right? You guys are used to it today with other apps that y'all have, where basically you just go into the app itself, um, go to log in, and then it just asks you what your Microsoft credentials are, and you just go in from there. Right. So that's what we were trying to solve for problem number one. Number two is more the provisioning aspect, right? So we've got multiple users coming in, the hiring process as well. If we're onboarding a new user within the organization, say we just hired a new technician, they are granted and provisioned multiple applications because of their position. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of having to go into the TimeZest app itself, creating the user, setting all the settings and stuff like that, you'll be able to create the provisioning process inside of Entra so that they can be provisioned a user license
Mm-hmm.
and have access to be able to be scheduled or schedulable within the TimeZest app. So then that user can begin being scheduled right away from within a service ticket or any other process that you use to be able to create those TimeZest appointments. Third aspect, it's just the offboarding, right? So like if that same user, many years down the road, hopefully they last forever, but people do leave the company. If there is a need to offboard, will have also that capability to remove them from the TimeZest app within Entra, so that you can easily remove them from access to the TimeZest app itself and prevent them from being scheduled in the future. So it just makes life a little bit easier in that way. To be able to get into it right now, this one is just a test environment. So again, we don't have it released yet. We did make the announcement in the newsletter, so you may have seen that
Mm-hmm.
not too long ago, but where we did make the announcement, but it was just to a small subset of users first because we wanted to do a quick soft launch to make sure everything was okay. We did feel like it was in a comfortable position for us to be able to go through the general release, but so we're tentatively looking to get the SSO integration out to you all in the 1st of July. Hopefully that, barring any other issues, we do just need one more approval within the TimeZest company to make sure everything's all good. Once we get all that blessing, then we'll get it out on the 1st of July. So again, the first part of it here is what I wanted to show you, just to be able to get the add-on when it does become available onto your account. So it's just going to be right in the middle, right above the account details inside of the account and billing. This is just the capability to be able to opt in and purchase the SSO add-in. So I just wanted to make sure we clear it up. This is a chargeable add-on. So for monthly customers that is on the professional monthly plan, it is $2 per active user per month for access. So anybody that is considered a schedulable user, they will be charged for the $2 a month for that plan. Anyone that's on the annual plan, it is $20 per user for the entire year. So they'll have it at that point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I mean, with the annual plan, that's just the same cost savings because we are offering it for 2 months free. So that's part of the advantage of opting into the annual plan. Okay. So once
Mm-hmm.
it's opted in and once you went ahead and moved forward with it, there is some setup involved. So I do want to make sure we're clear on that as well. With Microsoft, at the moment, they have temporarily suspended approving provisioning applications for companies like us, right? So we're trying to create this SSO provisioning and the integration into the TimeZest account. Typically, we would go in and request to say, hey, we need to submit a new application out there so that customers like yourself can download it from the Entra site and start using it. They stop that process because they have this new initiative that they're trying to enable and make it more secure for Microsoft company. So they stop that approval process. What that causes us to do. It's a pain point for us, but we had to do it because we want to get SSO available to you. That requires you to be able to create the TimeZest application inside of Entra, which will then get you the capability to do the provisioning and then add those TimeZest users to that account. So this first step, I purposefully didn't connect it because I wanted to show you there are some setup instructions. And I see, Joe, you put the link to the documentation itself. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you guys to do this. But essentially, there's 3 phases to the setup. The first part is what you see here is creating that TimeZest SSO application inside of Entra. You'll then go into the next step. Let's see if I could do this. Should be able to. You'll be entering your credentials, the same credentials that you did during the process step, to create that SSO application. The second phase is the provisioning. So whenever you go into the provisioning step inside of Entra or inside of the app, you'll be able to add your users and groups into the TimeZest app, which will then take the time to be able to push those users into TimeZest. Whenever it's a new user that gets created, you got the same process already, so you should be fully aware on how to do that. We can always walk you through it on another time if you need assistance with it, but essentially that's what the provisioning process is going to do. And then lastly, on the third phase, it's basically saying, I want to be able to add my TimeZest users to that group so that the provisioning process will finally sync through. So the instructions here will explain all of it. We're happy to walk you through if you do need assistance once we go live and you do have any setup. Our support team and myself will be able to jump in and assist with that. I didn't want to go through the full setup here just because, again, I have an existing tenant that I can't connect to this account. And also, too, I didn't want to take up your time to be able to just show you all the steps, which you can easily follow and get some assistance on if needed.
Yeah, and I did put the document that we have right now. It's not posted onto our help center as of yet. When we release a new feature, then we set them all live. But I wanted to give you guys a little snapshot and a little preview of that. So it is in the chat for you to grab. Now, these webinars, I'm having a little, it looks like internet issue, so I'm not sure if I'm coming through still, but
You're okay.
these
You're good.
webinars are recorded and they do go, okay. I keep getting this swirly thing going on. So they are recorded and they do go on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to go back and reference that as well. But with the support, if you haven't reached out to support before, it is that yellow chat box that you can see at the bottom right-hand corner of Jason's screen there. And we've put something new in within the last week here. So a big thing that we wanted to do, we're servicing MSPs around the world. And our team that work support is located here in the continental US. So something that we wanted to bring in was a little more ability for you guys to access questions no matter what time you're in TimeZest. And so we do now have a new AI agent in there to get you questions faster. And it is grabbing from all of our documentation and previous knowledge base that we've given it. So I've tested it extensively. It's working great. But I want you guys to, test it out. And if you have any feedback or questions or concerns about it, let me know. And of course, our team is right behind the screen there. So you can always ask to just go straight to the guys and we'll be there to help you as well. So just want to give you another tool in your belt to get those questions answered quickly. And hopefully that will be helpful to everyone. So let's see, what else is going on, Jason? I know that you guys have just released for Teams a little improvement, talking about feature requests. This was another one.
Yeah. So just starting off here, just to share with you for those that have not seen, this is our roadmap, our public facing roadmap out there. This is the one that I
Mhm.
monitor and update as much as I can, as frequent as I can, along with the feedback. So as you were saying, Joe, right, this is the location of what we were trying to share with you earlier. Be able to create your own feature request, vote for those that you feel is important, and also make comments so that we can understand more about the need of these things. So we're
Mhm.
also actively looking at these and making updates to keep you updated. So for example, like this one, right, we're putting it as under review because internally here in TimeZest, we're having these conversations that, hey, this looks to be pretty important. Uh, many other factors like, the amount of lift that it takes to do some of these things. Some can be much easier than others. Some can be a huge lift that could take months of engineering effort. So it all depends on many aspects of us to be able to make that final decision to say, hey, this is going to be beneficial to customers like yourself. And
Mhm.
how we can share that with you is going to be here. With your participation, this is important to me as the product manager in the company, is to understand what your problems are,
Mhm.
not personal problems. It's a different topic, but your problems within the TimeZest app to say, okay, I can't do a certain thing. It's causing me frustration. I, I need to I need to understand what those are. And I would rather hear it from you by being able to speak on it and have the conversation. So what I do a lot, many times, is when I'm ready to uh, start doing a lot of customer interviews, I'll leave a comment in here and say, hey, I'm ready to speak on this. Can we set up some time, and I'll provide my scheduling link to be able to do
Mhm.
that. For example, this one right here, I'm going back to the roadmap. This is the one our team has been actively working on, is the support for Teams call-in numbers, right? So here's when I
Mhm.
was ready. Here's that link that I posted to say, hey, I'm ready to start doing some customer interviews, and that's what I did to be able to understand why you guys need it and how it should be behaved. So our engineers were going through this whole process of being able to build this out because I was able to understand why you needed it, and so I just need to flip it to say it's ready to be or it is released. So I just wanted to show you what that looks like. It's a pretty simple setting from within the email templates that you now have in your production environment for the confirmation emails. So if at any case your appointment types are creating a Teams meeting, for example, like this one, I believe. Nope, this one doesn't have it. But if you do have online meetings available, and again, I don't have this. This account doesn't have the Teams integration set up. But if your if your account has the Teams integration with this radio button enabled, your email templates will now be able to include the Teams meeting dial-in number right here. It's already pre-configured in your setup, and we've already set up certain conditions to say if at any time that dial-in number does exist, we will display it in the email template. All right. So we
Mhm.
made sure of that just in case if there's any appointment types that don't have a Teams meeting, it's not going to display this text. So don't make sure that you're aware of that. So pretty simple. We include that in the meeting invite. So just in case if your end user or even your prospect, if they're trying to set up a meeting with you and they want to call in, they can simply go into the meeting invite, click on the Teams meeting dial-in number, and just do a normal dial-in like they are used to. They don't have to join the Teams meeting if they don't have the equipment to do so, or if they don't feel like they want to jump on a remote call with you. Simply dial it in from their phone using the phone conference ID and simply logging into the meeting from there. So
So something to add on to that, for those viewing who have custom email templates. So what we're looking at right now is the default, which is the one that we can control. So the team did put that in there. Like Jason mentioned, there's the display conditions. So you can set it so that it is not showing if it is not an online meeting, right? But if you have created custom email templates, this might be something where you want to go in and add this in, because we're not able to edit to your custom templates, right? So there are those custom variables there, the tokens, so you can add that in with your specific verbiage that you want to use, and then that'll display for you. So anyone who's using the custom, confirmation email template, you'll want to go in and add that if you want to make it accessible. And again, the gotcha for most people is the display conditions on the right side. So you can highlight that section and then say only show this if it is a Microsoft Teams online meeting, right? So there you go.
Yep. Oh, another thing on the appointment types as well, which I don't have one in workflow mode. Let me just convert this because I can. Let me move this over real quick. Because now you can also add in the two variables, the team's call-in number and the conference ID, into your ticket. So if you wanted to show that information as well, we already have it pre-configured to where if it is in workflow mode, you can add in an internal note into your PSA ticket. And then also I could do the same thing. So Teams dial in number and then do the same variable, Teams, that way. So just in case if you wanted to have it documented inside of the ticket, you could do so here. And it just makes it easier for anybody who needs to join in a call via phone call. They can access the service ticket and see the contents of the dial-in number.
Yeah, and if you haven't, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you haven't played around with workflow mode yet, I highly encourage you to do so. It's amazing how many conversations I still have with customers that have not looked into this, but things like the internal note is a great way to add it to all the steps that TimeZest is taking, so that you have this audit trail within your ticket internal notes, right? So you can see when a customer canceled, and you can put that custom verbiage in there, or when we send off reminder emails. So just a little, plug to check it out, do a test appointment type, and play around with it. So
yep,
that's what I have for that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we're clear. It is. We didn't have it yet, but here this one is in classic configuration. So this is like the standard default setup of an appointment type. It doesn't show here yet. Just we're adding that. Our engineers are wrapping up that work to make it as a default. So it'll be there. Don't worry. You don't have to convert your appointment types to workflow mode to make it happen. We just needed to tie that up and make it available. So our engineers are just wrapping up to make that work for you.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, we are at about 30 minutes. Jason, anything else you want to share? Or otherwise, people start putting if you have any questions, you can put those in the chat for Jason and I to answer. And it doesn't have to be specific about the topics of today. We're happy to go over any other questions. But anything else on your side, Jason?
No, I would just want to call it out there. One more thing to share is my scheduling link with you all. Always happy to have conversations with anything TimeZest related to understand what you need, right? So this is the best way to be able to voice your opinions, your comments, your needs, anything like that, in order to say, we need to put some priority on it because it is a certain need for you. Not a guarantee. I need to make sure it's not a guarantee and not a promise that we're going to make it happen. I just need to be able to put that in the bucket with the other comments, so then we can say, hey, this is a growing case. This is a growing need.
Right.
The leadership, decision makers, let's get together and say, hey, can we do this? And is it important for us to be able to do? So I just need to make sure that you have a sounding board and a listening board by using my link to be able to schedule with me and have a conversation. So no,
Yeah, and I
that's all
put
I had.
that in chat.
Yeah, there it is. Cool.
Yeah. No, it's really important to us, not just the, hey, we need this, but what's the use case behind it, right? So we're we're really blessed that we have this huge community of MSPs, and we get to kind of be this middleman of sharing knowledge and information between the different houses. And so if you have use cases where you're using TimeZest that you're like, this is really unique, this is special, or I need this feature, or I need this to be adjusted so that I can use it in this specific use case, communicate that to us. You know, we want to hear how you're using TimeZest, how we can make it so you can use us in more areas of your business. And that's why Jason and I are here. We pour our hearts and our minds into this every day. So any questions? I'm not seeing any in the chat.
I
Like I meant, yeah.
totally forgot about this, Joe. I wanted to talk about the roadmap and
Ah,
kind of get a little bit of a tease of what we're planning on working
yeah.
on, just to make sure everybody's aware too. Future work. All right, so just keeping these updated. These are the two that I'm looking to get an understanding of, because I want to stage it for at some point for our engineers to be able to look into. So first one's first, like this one right here, being able to send meeting invites from within TimeZest. There is this need for our customers. As you can see, it's 137 votes, pretty high up there. And what they're stating so far is the fact that me as the MSP, I'm already having a conversation with the customer, and they've already told me, hey, I'm free at a certain time, like Friday at 3 p.m. Can you just send me a TimeZest meeting? Right. So instead of the MSP like yourself sending out the TimeZest scheduling request, waiting for them to click on the link, getting onto the page to be able to book the appointment, why not just give you that capability to create the meeting right away? Okay, so that's what we're trying to solve here. This other one is the capability to read other calendars. So at the moment, we're reading your PSA calendar. We're also reading your Microsoft 365 calendar as well, just to figure out the correct availability and stuff like that. We're noticing that there's a lot of other users out there that have other calendars too, a personal Outlook calendar, maybe the G Suite, other calendars out there that we're not reading, which doesn't accurately show the correct availability, because you may have a certain appointment that you want to keep in another calendar that you don't want it to sync into your work Outlook or your PSA. So we're just trying to figure out, is there a need for us to be able to pull all of these other calendars? And if so, we'd be interested in learning what those are. So that's my offer to you. If you guys are available and interested in trying to have a conversation about what are those different pain points that you have specific to these two, these are what we're staging. There's other ones that we have also as well that's under review a little bit further down in the line. I do want to get these planned ones first out of the way to get as much detail as possible, to then start working on future projects too as well. So yeah, if there's any need, any appetite for you guys to be able to share your thoughts and stuff like that, use that scheduling link and have a conversation with me so that I can understand what you're needing.
Perfect. Well, we haven't gotten any questions in, so I'm going to call it for this session. We do hold these webinars the last Wednesday of every month at the same time. So if you can join us next month, we look forward to that. We do announce the different webinars within our LinkedIn. And so, as well as we try to run a banner within the application. So keep an eye out for that so that you can sign up and see what we're talking about next month. And so with that said, thank you everyone that took time out of your day and to spend it with us. And we look forward to your feedback and your input. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you,
Jason?
everybody. Have a good rest of your day.